Okay. Okie doke. Howdy ho. This is gonna be quick. It's gonna be short. Gonna be super quick. We're just gonna
Okay.
be.
Okie doke.
Oh, there's
Howdy
two of
ho.
me. There we go. All right. Today, what are we doing? Today we are finishing up the video that I did not finish watching last night because I was getting tired. And that's all we're doing today. Because then I got some stuff to do tonight, but I'll be back tomorrow for real streams. We were in the middle of versus
That.
okay. So yeah, we got about 50 minutes left of this video, a little longer. Hopefully I catch some my friends here in chat, but if not, that's okay too. This is a quick stream just to finish up this video so I can post the real version on YouTube before I head out for the night. What are we doing over here? Okay, doing pretty good. Interesting looking at all the YouTube stuff here. Do I have any other news? Not really. Not really. We probably won't catch a viewer today, but that's okay. All right. You just adjust one more thing. Mic's on, cool. Mm. Fix this too. Oh, and I don't know how to spell. Yeah, let's fix that. Okay. That should be better. Live chat. Okay. All right. Let's oh, wait. No. Almost. 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 Freaking thirsty. Been running around all morning. My Peach Rings G Fuel. Sponsor me, G Fuel. Oh, and Gym Reapers. You can sponsor me too. Actually, hang tight. Okay. All right, let's get into this.
No.
Okay. Well, then what other claim do you have that he is a fascist compared to...
I think that Donald Trump reaching into and trying
Oh, this argument. Okay, here we go.
to direct his apartments to do probably illegal things.
Well, Biden did that too with Facebook. He came out and said, Zuckerberg came out and said that Biden and Harris came to him to pretty much limit what Trump...
I don't think that was the claim. I think that what Zuckerberg said was that he felt pressured by some of the intelligence agencies to censor stories that they had censored, and he felt like he regretted that or
Like
he
the
didn't want to do
Hunter,
that.
like
But
the
I don't
Hunter
think
Biden
anything.
laptop, for example.
Well, that wasn't done because of any direct pressure from any of the intelligence agencies. We saw that in the Twitter files. There was never a claim.
Well, then why would Zuckerberg come out and say, I'm not going to...
Well, I'm talking about the
endorse
Twitter
either side?
files. Zuckerberg had his reasons that he listed in his letter to
Right.
Jordan, but none of this was illegal.
Well, I'm not saying it's illegal, but I'm saying, would you not say that's kind of dictatorial, kind of fascist?
No, I don't think so. It's all like out in the open.
Okay,
Like at
for
the end of the
example,
year, like Twitter and Facebook are
Let's
publishing
say
like
Trump,
how much they're
let's
charging
say
the
the
government for these.
roles were reversed, and then Trump did that to Biden. Would you then call him a fascist for doing that?
For doing what?
For pressuring, as you said, Zuckerberg or Meta to limit...
If Donald Trump's intelligence agencies had felt like there was like information that was being illegally offered into the United States from foreign enemies or whatever, and that
well, it wasn't
department was
illegal.
like,
The laptop was proven.
no, but that was the work. The laptop doesn't prove anything, but that was the fear, and that was the like fear that they had shared with those companies, but they didn't force them directly to take any action. Again, we can read the Twitter files, we can go through the emails.
Well, I'm not talking about Twitter. I'm talking about Facebook. I'm talking about Meta.
For Facebook, Zuckerberg also didn't allege any illegal action. He just said there was pressure from some of the agencies because to like censor what they perceived to be as threats or misinformation or whatever. I think some of it had to do like COVID misinformation and shit as well. I think.
Okay.
Which we can argue, like, should they have the role to do that or not? I just don't know if that's necessarily fascistic, like Donald Trump trying to direct his DOJ to like go after certain people, or trying to direct his DOJ to like.
Biden's done that.
I don't know if that's fascistic either. I agree with a lot of the things that Destiny is saying. But I don't feel like any of them are in service to his claim, which is still up at the top of the screen there, that Donald Trump is a fascist. I don't think that word applies. And I don't know why this is a problem on the left side of things, is this insistence on using the most inflammatory word to describe everything that your opponent is doing. And it's not helpful. And then you just get, now we're totally off the content of what's actually going on, and we're just arguing in defense of this word that we didn't need to use to describe a bad thing. Bad thing can be bad, but when you call it fascistic, now you're not arguing about bad thing being bad. You're arguing about the definition of fascist. It's just, it's pointless. I don't understand it.
With all the...
There's zero evidence for any of that, and probably it's almost certainly not true if you look at how Merrick Garland has gone after, for instance, his son.
Okay, pause. You've been voted out by the majority. Please return to your seats.
Right?
I'm Tia. Nice to meet you.
Nice.
Bro, that chair could take the chair every single time. Like, that seat could take the chair every time. No problem. This whole format is so fucking weird.
Meet you.
So I wanted to hone in on the part about nationalism. Can you explain that again in a little bit more detail?
Sure. So I would say more ultranationalism than just nationalism, but it's this idea that, you know, basically screw the rest of the world. We're going to hardcore.
And that too. Ultra nationalism. I don't feel like ultra is like a technical descriptor. Like, oh, it's like big scary nationalism. I don't know. And I feel like ultranationalism isn't necessarily a key function of fascism either. I don't know. Let's see what he says.
Hardcore cut immigration. We're going to hardcore cut our trade. We're going to hardcore cut our association with anybody else, and we're just going to be like our own little, basically, island nation. I think it's a very bad direction to go in.
And who's taking us in that direction?
I think that's what Donald Trump wants to do.
Wants to do. He was in office for 4 years. Did he do that?
Well, Donald Trump began some tariff processes. He tried to
So
do a
he
full
didn't do
Muslim
that for
ban.
4 years,
He
but
tried.
he's
Well,
gonna
he
do
took
that now,
steps towards
right?
that. He took steps
So
towards
I'm
that, right?
curious,
You acknowledge that he did try.
you're
He
an
banned 7
American?
Muslim majority countries, right?
You're a U.S.
He did do that.
citizen?
He did
You
do
were born
tariffs. You
here?
acknowledge that, right?
Do you
And he
like
did
being an
undermine
American?
NATO. He
Are
threatened
you
that.
glad to
Yes.
be able to live here?
Am I?
Ugh. I hate people like this. You have to answer each other's questions and not do stupid questions like, do you like being an American is not a debate question. Just for the record, do you like being an American is not a debate question because you can't answer the question that you were just asked. That's not a debate question. That is like I have a room temperature IQ question. That's what that is.
I'm glad to be able to live here. Am I glad to be an American? I am, but I don't know what that means to you. But to me, I am.
Which is
glad to be an
interesting
American,
because something that I've started to realize in the last few years is people who love America, who love living here, have been titled nationalists, and it's like a threat all of a sudden.
People that label themselves MAGA that say they love America have nothing to do with American values and nothing in common with the core values of this country. So they're the
Please
least American
explain.
people.
Please explain.
Sure, the desire to elect somebody who says the most obviously fascist things in the world, like the media is the enemy of the people, a guy who says he wants to terminate the Constitution.
That finally, that was an argument against fascism. The media thing. That was an actual, that actually had tangentially to do with the term fascism. So at least we got to something.
A guy who says he'd be a dictator on
Who's
day one.
terminating the Constitution?
Donald Trump said that he believes he could terminate the Constitution because of
It's
voter
so
fraud.
crazy because I've been hearing a lot lately from your side that the Constitution isn't necessary anymore.
Oh, I'm sorry. Which lawmaker or presidential candidate said that?
Your side.
Which is that the name first and last? Your side?
Yeah.
Like Miss Side?
True.
Or is she a
Yeah,
congressman or
it's
is she
your
a
side.
senator? Or I don't know which leader has said that, so I can't speak to that. I don't know who you
So
follow on Twitter,
anyways,
so I can't
as
speak
an
to that.
American-
But anyway, you acknowledge Donald Trump said that in times of like great peril, you can suspend the Constitution, and that he would do that for voter fraud.
For voter fraud?
He said that, yes, on Truth Social. He said that.
I'm sure there's a longer quote that I can look up later. I would love to
Okay.
do that, but I'm sure you're using it out of context.
Okay, you'll look it up later, and you won't ever talk about it again because it's an abhorrent quote. You
Oh,
acknowledge
because
Donald
you
Trump
know
said
me
that.
so well.
Because you're on that side, I know.
Okay.
You
On that one, it was hyperbolic and Trump did clarify, but the president's got to stop saying these wild hyperbolic things. It's not helpful.
agree that Donald Trump said that he would be a dictator on day one?
He did not say he would be a dictator on day one.
Okay.
Okay, cool. So as an American, I believe that it's a privilege and a blessing to live here. And under the Biden and Harris administration, my life has gotten a lot worse and a lot more difficult. Has your life gotten better or has it gotten worse?
I'd say my life has gotten better.
Well, congratulations. You're the only person in this room, maybe. But when I go to the grocery store, and you mentioned about inflation and everything, but when I go to the grocery store and a bag of groceries is like $50 and I have 2 kids to feed, do you think that that helps me as an American or do you think that hurts me as an American?
I think an expansion of the child tax credit would help you a lot more than another tax cut for wealthy billionaires.
A couple $1,000s isn't going to change my life, especially when
Another $6,000 a year wouldn't help you at all with groceries.
She better say that it would, because everyone knows that that's true. Like, you can't disagree with that.
with 2 children,
Yeah?
this much maybe. But if the
What
price
are your
of
children
What? This much?
eating?
True. What are they eating? What? Oh, she's gone. She's voted out. That's the 11th flag.
Okay, pause. You've been voted out by the majority. Please return
Thank
to your
you.
seats.
Even they were like, what are your children eating? Jeez.
nice to meet you.
Hi,
Hi, nice to meet you, Chrissy.
I'm Steve.
So, I would like to address, because earlier I feel like this was kind of dodged on a little bit. Earlier you directly said that Trump was authoritarian, then you said he was ultranationalist, and then you said he was authoritarian, then you said he was ultranationalist again. You kind of bounced back and forth. So which do you think
well, I would say both. He's both, right?
both, right? But then when the topic of ultranationalism brought up, you said, well, he's more authoritarian. And then that again changed to, well, he's more ultranational.
Did I miss something? I don't remember that happening.
So which, in your mind, is he? Is he more authoritarian or is he more ultranationalist?
I don't know how to answer. It's like asking if a square is more blue or 5 feet.
Well,
tall.
because you said
You
that.
could be- but they're two
Well,
totally
because you
separate,
said that he
things.
was more nationalist, and then you said he was more authoritarian. You said both claims, so I want to know which claim
so
is he more nationalist or is he more authoritarian?
I don't know how to say which one he's more of. He's both.
Because
They're
you
not
said that
competing
he was
things. I don't
more.
think
You
I ever
said that
said that. I don't
did.
remember.
Yeah, he didn't. I don't think he said that. I mean, I'm gonna go back and check later, but I don't think he said that.
Do you remember what was
You
his response
swapped it
to?
over. I believe it was first gentleman who spoke.
Okay, he might have said something like you said that he was an ultranational. I said yes, and an
So
authoritarian. But
another
he was, because
question is,
just being
why
one
is-
of these things isn't enough to be a
So
fascist.
why is
yeah.
nationalism at all even bad in the first place?
I don't know if nationalism is necessarily bad. I think that people kind of swap it out with patriotism sometimes. That's why there's the prefix ultranationalism. Ultranationalism is bad. It's because when you elevate your own country, just
and
like
what did he do for ultranationalism?
when he talks about putting terrorists across the board for every single other country on the planet.
So helping our country's
helping our
economy
economy.
is not. It's not.
It wouldn't be helping
so
us, and
he
it'd
was
be the
not helping our
detriment of the
economy
entire
during
world.
his presidency when he was actually literally getting us to import rice to China. Rice to China is benefiting our economy. Is that not? Is replacing China as one of China's biggest farming with ours? And as this gentleman also brought up with our manufacturing, how is bringing manufacturing over here, which is helped by tariffs, how is that
we
not,
already
how is that
we
horrible?
manufacture things here. If we've got more people manufacturing baser goods, then we can't manufacture more sophisticated goods. There's a reason Elon Musk, because you only have so many people.
Okay, pause. That's time. Please return.
Okay, she had no idea what she was talking about, but that's fine. It is what it is. Not everyone can know what they're talking about.
To your chair.
My next claim is the Make America Great Again movement would not exist without massive amounts of disinformation.
That one, that's a decent claim. I could get behind that claim. See if he argues it well. The two claims in the middle were very hyperbolic claims, very not helpful claims. Oh, I know who this lady is.
Hello, Destiny.
Hi.
Fancy seeing you here again.
Yep.
Here to bully me some more?
Yep.
All right, let's go.
Okay.
Let's get it going. Can you state some of the disinformation?
Sure. I think over the past few weeks, we've seen absurd claims relating to hurricanes being manufactured by weather machines. We've seen outright lies about the National Guard and FEMA like blowing away supplies and trapping people in their homes and lying about Biden providing financial aid to states, even though Trump is the one that has threatened to withhold aid. We've seen lies about the Haitians eating dogs and cats and Springfield. I can go on.
Have you I have a few questions.
Yeah.
Have you left the United States?
Yeah.
Where have you been?
I've been through Israel and Palestine. I've gone across Europe. I've been to New Zealand. I've been to places in Asia. I don't know what.
Okay, so you're like me. You've been everywhere. So you've seen some of these claims. You've like literally seen them to be true, or that they're false rather. So
I mean, I haven't seen how a hurricane is made. I
Okay.
haven't talked to every Haitian in Springfield. So.
all right. So what was the second point you brought up?
What?
About you said something about the camps and not looking.
She has no pushback for that one. I mean, that was a great argument. Just before the election, there was all kinds of wild shit about Haitians and hurricanes, and I mean, it was insane. It was literally insane.
Looking that way. That was my point. Have you been to these camps and have you seen the conditions and things that
The
they're
FEMA camps?
Yeah.
Or? No.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. Period. The end. So you're saying no, you haven't, but you're saying it's disinformation. So how do you know that it's disinformation? Which is why I brought up the point: have you left the country? Have you seen with your own eyes what's going on in these camps? And
Do you understand that for any type of society in an advanced civilization to work, you have to be able to rely on third-party people?
Yeah, this is the exact same argument that the other guy was making earlier when it came to the voting laws thing, where he was like, oh, well, can you name the statutes? No, of course, nobody, unless that's your profession, is voting legislation, then no, you're not going to be able to name the specific statute and the specific law in each state that requires that slates of electors be certified by the state legislature. Like, no one would ever know that. It's like, I don't need to go to Antarctica to know that there's snow and ice. I don't need to go there to know that. It's just, it's absurd.
People to report to you things that are true.
Right, but there's so much fake news out there today.
Exactly.
Exactly. So my question is to you though, is that have you seen these claims? Have you seen these places with your own eyes? Do you know what's going on?
No, but I don't have time
Would
to
you-
verify everything with my own eyes.
I
yeah.
know, because you're too busy teaching gamers how to be nerdy
Because
now,
I can't
right?
verify every single thing in the world with my own eyes.
I'm pretty sure at this point, Destiny hadn't played video games in like a year. So, not that that's even remotely relevant. She's turning to Adham because she just lost her argument. And I remember who she is now. She had a debate with, we'll watch it one day. Had a debate with Destiny and he just destroyed her. It was about some like red pill stuff. And then she came back with a friend and the friend immediately turned on her and they just dogpiled her like together. It was amazing. We'll watch it some other time.
Just like you couldn't verify the fact that you enjoy getting pegged, right? Actually, you did verify
What was that?
Jesus Christ. Just to the Adham. It's so absurd. Oh God. Why?
Anyways, but that was just a.
Technically, you need a mirror to see that, but I
Yeah,
don't know
it
why
was-
you'd even.
It was
okay.
it was
yeah.
a B-side.
Are we here to talk sex for 20 minutes? We can do that if
No,
you
no,
want.
no,
yeah.
no.
Okay.
So what other claims were like not valid or false?
How many? I mean,
Something
how many more
else.
I mean, the
Okay,
election.
They voted her out for that. Yeah. Classic. Oh, she's a real piece of work.
2020 election, the voter fraud claims for that were all
Pause.
fabricated.
All right.
You've been voted
All right,
out by
thank
the
you.
majority. Please return to your seats.
I think that both sides thrive on misinformation. I think average people don't have enough time in their lives to decipher what's true and what's not. I think that's the case for most people who work 9 to 5, unfortunately. But I think that your side also thrives off of misinformation. I think that you actually just did the meme a second ago. You said that the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act was just tax cuts for the rich, but in fact, people making $15,000 to $50,000 received a tax cut of 16 to 26%.
Hey, plead the grift.
People make-
Oh, sorry. Hey, plead the grift. Welcome to chat. How are you doing today? Why'd your thing disappear? Oh, maybe you're not there. All right.
Majority of the money went to wealthy people.
Why is that? It's because wealthy people pay more taxes, Stephen.
Yeah.
So their share of tax burden is obviously going to be in volume more physical
Correct.
dollars. Yes.
But when it comes to the budget, all that
But
matters is the
proportionally,
absolute. Yeah.
do you concede that proportionally middle class people received more in tax breaks than rich people? Proportionally.
proportionally to their income.
Yes.
Possibly.
Or their tax burden.
But the problem is the effect at the end of the day on the budget then is going to be like the biggest outlay is going to be towards wealthy people, right? Our deficits are increasing because all the money that wealthy people are saving, right?
Okay, sure, fair enough. But I think like already, 90% of taxes are paid by 50% of the country, and 50% of taxes are paid by 1% of the country. I always hear this thing of like, the billionaires, the rich people aren't paying their fair share, but it seems to me that they've been paying more than their fair share since America's inception, and the middle class actually has been paying not their fair share. And I'm not saying that we should increase taxes on the middle class, but what I'm
Well, plead the grift. Unfortunately, it's going to be immortalized forever in the YouTube chat box. So it's going to be there forever. I don't really think you made a mistake, though. Looks like you just ended your sentence early. It's okay.
What I'm saying is the
Either way, welcome to the channel.
billionaires are definitely paying their fair share.
They pay a lot for sure, but if you want to fund all the programs that we have, you have to tax people more.
Back to the
right?
misinfo thing.
Okay.
I mean, like,
I agree that both sides engage in
Sure.
misinformation. I just think that conservatives do it on a whole other level. Donald Trump will get up and lie as easily as he breathes. Like if you watch any of the interviews that he gives, it's
Okay.
lie after lie after lie after lie.
Same thing with Kamala Harris
Not
and
even
Tim Walz.
close to
Dude,
the same
oh my
level.
God.
There's a
Bro.
reason why they asked Tim Walz, did you lie?
Bro, name one. Let's compare them. Name a thing and we'll compare the lies and we'll see whose lies were bigger. Right? That's what we do. Whip them out. Compare.
Like, were you 3 months off on when you went to China?
and then he filibustered for 5
and
minutes.
then for Vance, it was, do you believe the results of the last election?
Yeah, no, I agree
Like,
with
these
you.
are
He
totally different types.
refuses
You
to-
agree? Yeah, these are
refuses to
totally
answer that
different types
question.
of claims,
Sure.
right?
But like,
Like,
your
Walz
side,
is probably not
constantly
okay.
touting lies.
Vance-
Like saying inflation is lower now than it was under Trump. Pre-COVID inflation
Okay,
rate
pause.
was 2.4%.
Why did Biden say he ran for president?
I don't remember.
Do you remember the video he released at the beginning when he launched his campaign?
For the 2020 election or for
Yes.
the? I don't remember now.
He said it was because of Charlottesville. And he specifically cited that Donald Trump called the Nazis fine people. Do you believe that?
So yes, I
No,
don't know
that's
why.
false. No, I'm sorry.
Hold on, wait. I understand what you're going to say.
Steven,
I know what you're going to say. It's people like to go to the so some people present this as Donald Trump saying that the Nazis were good people. He didn't. He said there were good people on both sides of that rally, but it was a rally that had Nazis. I don't know in what world you would ever say that. The full quote doesn't exculpate. It's not exculpatory at all. Therefore,
the full quote, he said, the Nazis and white supremacists I completely disavow. So he disavowed them.
after he was pushed several times to do so.
No, that's not true.
That is- you can
He said in the
okay,
speech.
alright.
He
They
said
can
it in
watch
the
it.
speech.
Okay.
He said it in the speech. And they took him out of context and said that he called them fine people. Right after he said the fine people line, he said I disavow the Nazis. So that's a lie that the Biden campaign
I
started, the whole
disagree that it was a
campaign.
lie. His
It's a
quote on
100%
its
lie.
own of him saying
No,
there
it's
were fine
objectively
people
false.
on both
He
sides
did
in a
not.
tiki tally on a tiki torch
no.
rally, that is insanity.
He said disavowed-
That is insanity.
No,
it's
it
one
was-
of the easy.
it was
This
the
was
first-
like a question on a retard test saying like, hey, listen, here's a rally with a bunch of guys. Sorry, my bad. Streamer language. My bad. Streamer language.
It's
There's,
okay.
there's a rally, and on one side you got a bunch of people with tiki torches. How would you describe the rally? And you go, well, there are fine people on both
No.
sides. It's the most easy bait in the world to say. You probably should just say that side is a bad
Steven,
side. Considering how much people claim that like you have to disavow all the BLM,
That's
all of his
objectively
all
false.
rights.
It was
no,
a protest
insane.
over the removal of the Confederate statues. There were people that were normal people
Were
there.
there people there with tiki torches?
That was at the night before. That's
Okay,
irrelevant
pause.
because he did.
That's a weak one because I have seen the whole quote and it's a bit misleading to just be like, he said that there were fine people on both sides. I don't really think Biden running because of that is like more misinformation though. Because he could still run because of the horrible things. And Trump did say that line. Yeah, I don't know. That just doesn't seem like a strong point. Sorry, bud.
He disavowed the Nazis.
You've been voted out. Please return to your seat.
What's up, Steven?
Hey, what's up?
So, tell me, misinformation, you mean like fake dossiers or like rhetoric that has a president get assassinated, attempts to get assassinated? You mean like that kind of misinformation
By another Republican?
that caused 3 assassination attempts?
Do you know why those people tried those assassination attempts? Do we even
I don't know. You're your friends, right? Didn't you say like
I
one of
don't
the
think any of them are
Republicans
my
that
friends.
got shot, right?
I
You
don't
have
think
no
any of those
problem with
people
that,
are my
right?
friends.
So I mean
None of the
that's the
shooters
level
were
of
my friends.
disinformation.
Weren't two of them like registered Republicans?
So they say.
Yeah.
Were they watching your content?
Were they watching my
Yeah,
content?
that's what they said.
Who's they?
They,
The
you know,
Jews or I don't.
I don't know about that. But
Okay,
isn't that
I
the
don't know
same?
who they-
Isn't that the same misinformation? The dossiers, the rhetoric that he's a bad, he's going to
which
ruin the country.
dossiers?
Oh, you know, like the one that Hillary Clinton bought, right? You
Okay,
know,
the one that was published by
the one, the
BuzzFeed
fake,
Media.
the fake one. You know,
Well, I don't know if
the one that
everything
whole
that was
led
fake,
that
but-
whole FBI, you know, investigation that wasted a whole bunch of Americans' money, right?
Okay.
That
Well, no,
fake
I don't think
dossier.
I would say. I think that the Mueller investigation turned out more credible indictments and information than the Hillary Clinton email investigation and the whole Benghazi waste of time.
Yeah,
and
but it
almost
was all
everything
that, all
related
that,
to
all
Hunter
that
Biden's
stuff
son.
that
Or
came
Joe
from
Biden.
the, you know, the Democrat Party, all that fake news, right? Is that what you're talking about? When
I don't know. I don't know
misinformation?
if you call it fake news. It was a dossier that they paid for to be researched
That was
by another
fact.
person.
That was-
I
that
mean,
was-
they
that
said
was-
that there was low confidence in a lot of it. Just
And
like, for
so-
instance, would you acknowledge that all this about Hunter Biden and his illegal dealings with Burisma and Joe Biden, like profiting off that? That's all fake news too.
No, I just know he does a lot of cocaine.
Okay.
Did you do cocaine with him?
No, I don't.
You coon with him?
Not recently, no.
Oh my God, the ad hom. I mean, stop cooming, but the ad hom, it's a debate.
Because you are the Coomer Gremlin, right?
Am I the Coomer Gremlin?
Well, we know you are.
Yeah, like Donald Trump is when he
No,
was like
no.
a prostitute, like 4 years or 4 months after his wife had a child at home when he was cheating with Stormy Daniels.
You mean like how you
Remember
take your
that?
wife to go get banged
I'm
out
not
by a
running for
bunch of dudes and
president.
suck
Am I
the
running for
dude's
president
dick?
right now? Are you
know
going to
what I
vote for me or?
No, I
right?
wouldn't vote for
do you
you.
remember? So do you remember when Donald Trump was f***ing Stormy Daniels?
No, but do you remember
4
when you were
months
sucking the
after?
dick on
4
like,
months
you know, podcasts or
after?
something
4 months
like
after she
saying
had a
like nice
child?
Robin
You remember
Cock,
that?
Right? You remember that?
You notice that?
Remember that?
I like that the standard that you set for me is the same as you set for your president. I'm not running
Oh,
for
I'm not
president.
running.
You understand
You're
that,
not my
right?
standard for president.
Okay, well then why are you comparing Trump to me?
No shit. They're all just ad homing during this one. I don't know why. Well, it's probably because they don't really have like a strong refutation to this, because it's like categorically reality that there has been more disinformation on the MAGA side of politics than there has been on the progressive side. That's just a categorical reality. The common theme is they refuse to acknowledge anything. Yeah, as soon as they just dodge. It's gish galloping. When you get cornered on one point, you just gallop away over to the next point and refuse to acknowledge the first point. They're all taking a page out of the Andrew Wilson debate tactics book, or the debate purgatory book, if you will.
Because I'm just.
Pause.
Exactly,
You've been voted out by the majority. Please return to your seat.
Yeah, obviously. Oh no, she's the worst. She was the worst. Oh, this is gonna be funny.
Okay, so everybody seems to be bringing up neo-Nazis and neo-nationalism. That seems to be coming up, and I want to know why. Under Obama, Joe Biden was the vice president. Under Obama, and they are United States government, this is a fact, organized a coup against the government of Ukraine. And Ukraine is known as one of the #1 countries where where neo-Nazis
Is that a fact?
are going to train. You have the Azov battalion, you have the right.
The United States initially stopped providing weapons to the Azov battalion due to its founders' neo-Nazi ideology, but lifted the ban after the unit was absorbed by the Ukrainian National Guard and rejected far-right ideology. The State Department found, oh, okay, so it's like kind of a fact. Not really, though.
So one, the Azov Battalion, I think at its most had like 600 or 700 people that might have been identified as neo-Nazis. Maybe, number one. Number two, the United States did not engage in any type of coup or anything in
There is
Ukraine.
a coup. It's
No, there
reported.
wasn't.
Yeah,
No, it's
yeah,
not.
Victoria Nuland.
Yeah, I understand.
Victoria
I'm aware of the
Nuland.
news.
The Newland leak. Ambassador to Ukraine discussing their support.
Newland leak. All she said was that
Where
we
on
would
the
all
Newland leak with
the
Jeffrey
leak phone
Pyatt?
call
Then
where
why
all
did they
say
why did they
where
remove Jeffrey
say
Pyatt from the embassy?
The leak call
Why
just
did
said
they
that they
remove
would
Jeffrey
prefer
Pyatt from the
one leader
embassy?
of another.
Why did
There's
they kick him out of
absolutely no
Ukraine?
evidence
All of
that
this is on
Euromaidan
video.
was
This is on
concocted.
video.
You're delusional. You're a crazy
Maidan,
person.
I'm a
She is a crazy person.
You're a
crazy person because of Maidan?
You're a
Okay,
crazy person.
okay,
Yes.
привет, как дела? No, нет.
Okay.
It doesn't matter. You don't understand what happened, and you're making
Yep.
up claims that aren't true. These
She's
are
already getting
actual
voted out because they all know it's not
Victoria
No,
true.
we've all
Nuland,
heard them
Jeffrey
15
Pyatt.
million times because it's the only things that you guys can
I'm sure.
propagate to try to claim that the United States engaged in a coup
You
over
guys
there.
haven't brought this up at all. I'm bringing it up right now.
Okay,
Adios.
The Azov
Yeah.
You've been voted
Jeez, it's unhinged. It's so crazy.
out by the majority.
Hi.
So I just want to address the fact, recently we had a debate and
Ugh, please be a normal person. Please just be a normal person.
so there wasn't any checks on Kamala Harris really anytime, especially when she claimed that Democrats don't support third trimester abortion and that it never happens. That recently happened not too long ago in Washington, D.C. with Cesar Santangelo. There were 5 third trimester babies who were aborted. We've seen this with Kermit Gosnell as well.
Can I ask, what were those 5 babies aborted for?
Why does that matter? They were still killed third trimester, fully developed,
Well,
their
the question
spines
is
completely snapped.
Was the abortion a part of like a medical procedure for the life of the mother?
No.
So was it totally
It was an
elective?
elective,
Okay,
yes.
I'll look it up afterwards. My understanding is 1, this is incredibly rare. 2, I don't even know if the vast majority of Democrats would support this. 3, I don't know if the vast majority of like
But the-
pro-choice people would support this.
But the thing is,
I haven't-
over
I would have to look-
90% of Democrats actually don't. They are okay with They are okay with there not being any limits on abortion. If
I
we
think
look
that
at the
yet-
states, there's
I don't think it's 90%. There's definitely a big number, which is very scary. But I don't think it's 90%.
6 states, including Washington, D.C., which is a district that has no restrictions on abortion. That means that all of those states are Democrat states. So, yes, that side is perpetuating and at least setting a very dangerous precedent that this can happen in those states.
I think the reason why they advocate for no laws in those states, and I would have looked, maybe there's a better way to craft a law for it, but the problem is that if you make it illegal, then if a medical issue does come up, there's a potential roadblock or a hurdle there where a person might die waiting to get some type of like legal
But someone
approval for
always
something.
dies in an abortion. Someone always dies. A human being always dies.
With all
when
due
we don't
respect,
have
this is an insane position, and
No,
I'm
it's
not
not.
going
How
to
is
take the
it an
position. I'm not going to
insane
take the position that the life of the fetus is going to be prioritized over the life of the mother because you want to make an abortion illegal there in that case. I don't think you have
So
the right
it's
to make that
okay to
decision.
kill a human
I think that
being
I
just
think
for
it's better.
any
I think
sort
that
of
the mother and I
reason.
think that the family should be making that decision.
So-
I don't think that the government should be stepping in and saying,
I don't think that the government
This is a bad position. I don't like this position at all. I'm like very, very hesitant about the entire abortion thing. It's just no part of any part of it sits right with me.
should allow people to kill people for no reason.
But
That's
you're
what
saying that
saying.
you're saying that you would turn the woman away from medical treatment because she can't engage in an abortion. at
No,
that point
that's
in time.
not what I'm saying. That's not the claim that I'm making. What I'm saying is that that side is saying that no one supports it, that no laws are giving precedent for third trimester abortions when that's happening. And even if it is a small number, say it's 1% of all abortions, that's still over 15,000 abortions. That's 3 times the amount of kids who die in school shootings, which is a tragedy, and that's an issue we all need to fix. But that's still a significant amount of people that are dying from abortion, and no Democrat is acknowledging that. And I think it should be at least acknowledged.
Okay, I mean, if Republicans want to put together any type of like pro-choice legislation that they feel like Democrats would support, I mean, then they can have that conversation. But obviously, that's not going to happen. So
No,
when
it's not,
Democrats are
'cause it's not
engaging
okay
in
to kill
that, because
someone.
when Democrats are engaging with that conversation with Republicans bring up the third trimester stuff, but you guys don't actually care about third trimester.
Why do
You
we
care
not
about-
care?
Because I'm
your
about
side
to
doesn't.
explain it. Because you care about all 3 trimesters. You just
Yes.
use it exactly. So you don't want to ban third trimester abortion. You want to ban all abortion.
yes,
but you
absolutely.
hyperfixate on the third trimester abortion as a way to get
No,
into the
because it's
conversation.
happening because your side denies that it happens, and it does
Even
happen.
if they acknowledge that it happened, or even if they ban third trimester abortion, you guys would still want to get rid of
So
all
you're
abortion.
okay with third trimester abortion?
I'm
Okay,
okay.
pause. Please return to your seat.
It's just a bull conversation. I just don't like it at all. I don't like any part of it.
Number one, I'm a MAGA gangster. I'm outside when it comes to
All right, so not a normal person.
Trump. Have you ever been to a rally?
Yes,
That's number one.
fortunately,
I don't know
yeah.
if you book smart or
I've
if
been to
you're
rallies
really
before.
outside, because
I've
I'm
been to a
outside.
rally, yep.
I'm outside. And you basically said MAGAs thrive off of lies. First of all, you ever seen a Trump rally? You don't see all of the unity and love out there?
Nope, I see things
You don't
saying
see
like
unity
deport all
and
the
love.
immigrants, and I see more MAGA flags, and I see
All
and I
right,
see
so
American
you support,
flags.
all right, let me ask you this. You
Yeah.
support Black Lives Matter?
Not that much.
But Black Lives Matter only when media put it out. That's number one. Trump is bringing a lot of unity and love. You support burning and looting. That's what you support.
Actually, he just said he doesn't really support Black Lives Matter. So I I don't think the speech he prepared was prepared for that.
And it tripped me out how you could support someone that just want the world to just go crazy, burning and looting. And I heard you say something earlier that's crazy. You said you hate America. Talk about that.
I don't think I ever said I hate America.
Yes, you did. And
When did I say I hate
and
America?
it made me look at you even
When did I
more.
say I hate?
You did
In what
you
context?
said it earlier. You said it earlier.
I don't
You
think
said,
so. I
hate
think
America.
I said that I
that's why Trump is
like
gonna make
America. I
America
like
great
America.
again.
I don't think
Trump
MAGA people like America. I don't think you
2024.
guys have any idea what it means to be American. I don't think you know what American values are. I don't think you know what this country was founded or built upon. And I think you guys are obsessed with a cult leader who is taking the entire
leader.
Republican Party off of a cliff.
Everything he say he do. Trump is gangster. Remember.
Can you give me one thing you don't like about Trump?
What I don't like about him, I love everything about him.
I know, because it's a f***ing cult. Thank you.
It's not a
Yes. If you can't name one thing you don't like about him, that's not good. It's not good.
cult. I'm from
cult.
No, it's not
That's
a
a
cult.
cult.
Everything is a cult if you want to think about it.
Okay.
Everything is a cult.
To somebody in a cult, that's probably true, yeah.
He's someone that's representing and Kamala, Kumala, whatever.
All the flags at once. They're like, whoa, bro, no, nope, we don't co-sign this. None of them agree with each other. They are they're booting each other as quickly as the Christians were booting each other during the Alex O'Connor surrounded.
Yeah, but her name is she out of here. Trump 2024. Let's go.
Why are some of them here? I don't get it. How did Jubilee choose these people? Like, why is she here? Why is he here?
Hi, Jenny. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So you think that people that support Trump are in a cult? Why is that?
I feel like Donald Trump is basically untouchable. He can do no wrong. The entire conservative party is basically centered around Donald Trump. Any person that goes against Donald Trump, it can be so many people. Everybody still looks at all of those people around him as being the fault and never Donald Trump. When Donald Trump was in office, it was because of...
These people are crazy. Yeah, it's weird too. So like, Jubilee tends to do this. Like the person in the center is like an actual informed person, and then the surrounded people are like, they just found them on the street. Like they're purely content creators. Like they're not pundits, they're not informed, they're just content creators. And that's why they almost all, like half of them at least, have resorted to ad hom. There's been like 2 people so far that had like any semblance of like an intelligent thought to go along with their ideology. This girl seems nice so far, but the last time I said that, I was wrong.
the swamp. When people like Barr turned against him, it was because he was a rhino. When people like McCarthy didn't, like carry his banner, it's because he's a rhino. People like it's this labeling of every single person around this as he's a bad guy is, oh, those people are rhinos and Trump is great and Trump can do no wrong, basically.
I think that's false. I don't think Trump is a perfect human being. I think anybody out here that's voting for Trump knows that he is not innocent. No top businessman, no top politician got to the top without getting their hands dirty. I think what we're all voting for is based on his policies. I think he prioritizes the economy. I think he stands for women's rights, and that is something that's very, very important to me. Do you think that Trump likes women? Do you think he respects them at all?
Yeah, Trump loves women. I don't know if he respects them. When we say
really?
that people
You don't think so?
Destiny would know. No offense. I'm kidding. It's kind of true, though.
No.
Why not?
I think the types of statements alone that he makes about women, I think, call that into question. But you said earlier that people support Trump because of his policies. I don't think that's true because I don't even know what policies of Trump that nobody even talks about them.
Oh, really? He posted on his Twitter, he posted that like 20 promises he's going to make to America. He's going to make trans women competing in women's sports illegal. I think that is something that needs to be said, that he does support women in that register.
Are these things are these like the most important issues to you?
I think so.
Okay.
I am a woman after all. At least I know I am.
You're competing in a lot of NCAA or whatever athletic events?
I attended San Jose State. I graduated from there. You do realize that there is a transgender person that's on that volleyball team, and nobody on that team was told that there was a transgender woman on there?
I didn't know this is the largest issue in the election for you. It just seems like a pretty minor thing altogether.
I think women's rights in general is a big thing.
Okay, but not the right to an abortion.
Right to abortion isn't actually a woman's right. It's a woman's rights thing. It's a totally separate issue. It's not like, so when we talk about women's rights, we're talking about in comparison to men's rights, and men have no reproductive rights. So it's a totally side issue. That's like it's divorced from like the rights thing completely. It's all to do with like this, like the whole abortion debate. It's a life. No, it's not. Okay, cool. Good talk. Like that's the whole conversation. It's a totally tangential thing. So I don't know if I buy that, but I don't think just the trans woman in sports thing is like that's not a long list of Trump supporting women. That's like a pretty short list. Maybe she had other things and they just voted her out too quickly. I don't know. I don't know why they voted her out. She was like at least talking normally and rationally. It's because they're crazy.
So you talk about misinformation, but
Andrew's
you're giving us a
back.
ton of misinformation right now. You said, seems like nobody in MAGA even wants to talk about any of the issues of Donald Trump. Had multiple debaters come up, talk to you about multiple economic policies, compare and contrast them with Kamala, gave you great reason.
I don't think I heard any economic policy from Trump when
Oh,
he was in 4 years.
Okay,
Yeah, what were
okay.
his economic
No,
policies?
no, back up. Now you're switching the claim. So what you just claimed is, I don't hear MAGA people talk about this at all.
I don't think I heard any.
That's
policies
what
that were
you
brought up.
said. And
Yeah.
yes, they did. They
What were
brought
they?
up, they
Well, they were talking about like the tariffs and stuff, so they technically did bring some stuff up, but that was earlier in the debate. That wasn't during this part.
brought up the capital gains policies. They also brought
Or the
up
capital
they
gains
also brought up
policies.
tariffs. They brought up the tariff policies. They brought up multiple economic policies. Total misinfo.
Okay.
Total misinfo for you to say they didn't. They absolutely did. Are you disputing that nobody here brought up any policies of Donald
I think that when you're talking policies from somebody,
Mm-hmm.
if the only thing you have are tariffs, it's not really a strong policy foundation.
I'm
to support
sorry.
somebody.
I'm sorry. Did you use the word any? You don't hear anybody talk about
I'm
that?
speaking like a human being right now.
Oh, but when
right?
Donald Trump speaks
So
like a
when
human
he-
being, he's a
Donald
liar.
Trump doesn't speak like a human being.
Yeah, he's
a moron.
Anytime.
I'm sorry, but Donald Trump speaks like an idiot.
Would
Yeah.
you say it's misinformation, for instance? Is it misinformation when you say that a firefighter who got murdered at a rally, when you laugh at that and you say that that's totally fine, are you spreading
I
misinformation?
don't know if
Are
I said
you-
that's totally fine. I think I said I
Yeah.
don't really have any sympathy for
No,
people who
you,
get
no,
shot
you
at
didn't.
for
You
rallies.
laughed about it. You thought it was fun.
He didn't say it was totally fine though. He just said he doesn't have sympathy. Those are two different things, Andrew. Come on, Andrew. The thing about Andrew is he knows when he's being bad faith better than anyone else here. He knows that this is bad faith tactics.
Funny. You didn't give a shit. You were under fire on Twitter for weeks until you finally backed
Okay,
away.
you can go
after
find, I
you
haven't
were
backed
back.
away from any of those statements.
Yeah.
You can go find the
You
tweets
haven't
if want.
backed away from any of them?
No, not at all.
You don't care that the guy died, right?
People died. Rallies
Yeah,
happen.
yeah, you don't care.
When this side is involved
But you
in
care
some of
about
the most
misinfo?
violent, divisive. Here's a
You
question.
care about misinfo?
Here's a question. That does not do with misinfo. Here's a question.
I'll
wait.
explain how it's
Wait. Do you
misinfo.
disavow any of the
Let me-
rhetoric about Paul
let-
Pelosi? Do you
let
disavow
me-
any of the rhetoric about Paul Pelosi?
What? Even if I made any outrageous claim possible, has nothing to do with your claim, which
Do you
is what
disavow any
we're
of the,
talking
do you
about. We're
disavow
talking
any
about
of
your
the,
claim.
You don't.
Stop
he doesn't.
switching.
He doesn't, of course not.
Stop
He doesn't
switching
acknowledge
the
what happened on
goalposts.
January 6th. He doesn't acknowledge
And
that
you're
people are turning
filibustering.
away
You're
FEMA
filibustering.
right now
Stop
because
spurging.
they're
Stop
convinced that
spurging.
the federal government's going
Stop
to take their
spurging.
houses.
Stop spurging.
You are, yeah, you're
Stop
just engaging all the
spurging
time.
and
You
answer
can say
to
stop
the
spurging over and
question.
over again. I'm not here
Yeah,
to
I'm going
talk out
to.
my tweets,
Are
but if
you
that's what you really
ever-
want to
are
talk about,
you-
These two know each other too well to be sitting across the table from each other trying to actually talk. They're both having debates from the past, like flashbacks going through their heads right now.
you do it. I've
Are you
tweeted
going
crazier
to
shit than that, I
acknowledge
promise.
Are you going to acknowledge that you said totally fine? You didn't care. You just said right now you don't
Go and
care.
find- You can look at all my
How
tweets.
is it now? Let me explain how
What
it's.
does that do with
I'm
misinformation?
going to explain how it's misinformation.
Okay.
Because don't you think that if you make claims like Donald Trump is un-American, Donald Trump doesn't like the Constitution, and then you have an assassin come, he tries to kill Donald J. Trump at a rally, another American dies. Aren't you spreading misinformation by saying to people, this is okay? Isn't that
I don't think
un-American?
I've ever said this is
Isn't
okay.
it
I've said
un-American?
over and over again that there shouldn't be any political violence in the United
that's
States.
great.
It's not good.
That's
you can laugh.
great.
You guys are the ones that
Donald
support
Trump
it.
said that at
You
January
guys deny
6th.
it.
He said it during January
After
6th.
he sat and watched it happen for 3
Oh, well,
hours.
after
when
the
he was
guy died,
only
now you're
person-
sorry about your
What-
rhetoric.
Who said I was sorry?
Yeah, you're not
Excuse me.
sorry,
Please stop
exactly.
projecting onto me.
Not
I never
sorry
said I was
at
sorry about
all.
anything.
Yeah, you don't
I've not said that. Yeah, unlike you, I have a spine over the things that I say, okay?
No,
Number one.
okay.
Number two, Donald Trump and your side are the ones that have engaged in divisive rhetoric for years. This idea that saying Donald Trump is un-American when Donald Trump himself says that he would be a day one dictator
Divisive rhetoric
and he would
is fun.
suspend the Constitution. I'm sorry,
Don't-
if the divisive
There's a
rhetoric is me
difference between
quoting
divisive
Donald
rhetoric
Trump
and
against you,
assassinating the
that's
guy.
Donald Trump's problem. Maybe he
Your
shouldn't say
rhetoric
things
has
that are
led to
un-American.
assassination attempts, and one of the guys who died there, you don't even give a shit, and I've said this multiple times. And at the same time, you're like, oh, I love America. What kind of bullshit is this, Destiny?
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it's
When you guys start
unbelievable.
taking accountability for some of the crazy things that you say, come and talk to me, okay? Come and talk to me.
Well, I'm glad they could, work that out. Jesus Christ.
Okay, so we're gonna do a 5-minute extension.
He did not wait for the timer.
All right, I want to go back to kind of your original claim, which
Well, yeah, of course, but it's because when Andrew and Destiny debate and they have like 5 minutes to do it, they're not even talking to each other. They're having like flashbacks and PTSD about all the other debates they've had and just like they're both just like fucking going crazy about it. It's totally it's kind of pointless to have Andrew here, especially when there's all these other morons on the panel that are voting everybody off after like 2 minutes. It's this whole format is pretty absurd.
Information.
Well, can you restate your original claim?
I think MAGA thrives on disinformation. They are in a totally different reality now than they ever have been.
So that actually wasn't your original claim. Your original claim was that
the MAGA movement wouldn't exist without the amount of disinformation. Yeah, something
right.
Like that.
Okay. So how can you possibly know that?
Well, I can't know through all possible worlds if they wouldn't.
Right. Exactly. So right off the bat, your initial claim is false.
Okay. Well, if this is a philosophy 101 class, then you've completely and totally debunked me, sir. Yeah.
Wow. Great. Debunked. Great.
That's not a W, dude. That's not a W.
Well, so great. Your initial claim is false. Glad you can admit that. Now you want to go.
Yo, this kid's face. Look, it's so off-putting. I don't know what it is. It's so round. Like, what is happening?
Go to the disinformation topic. Well, one, I think a lot of the rhetoric that you're spewing is very divisive for our nation because a lot of the times you're assuming people's intentions on these things, right? You're assuming that people are purposefully ignorant when you're in no position to actually know something like that.
I don't know if people are purposely ignorant or not. I actually, unironically, I hold the individuals a lot less accountable than I do the content creators.
Well, but you don't talk to people like that.
Well, I usually am talking to content creators. Even most of the people in here, I think, are like on TikTok or something else. I've seen a lot of these faces.
Okay, so that's an assumption without any evidence.
Hold on, are you saying that I'm assuming without evidence that most of the people that I talk to tend to be like
No, most of the people in this room. That's what you're assuming.
Okay.
So anyways, again, you're assuming the intentions of these people, and that's not true. You're assuming that we're part of this MAGA cult, which is not true at all.
I mean, the guy here earlier literally said that Trump.
Well, okay. Well, maybe some people, right? And I don't believe that Trump can do no wrong, and I think most Republicans believe that, right? I'm disgusted by some of his personal behavior. I think his stances on abortion. He's gone way too far left.
You've been voted out by the majority.
Why are they voting out the people that are just talking normally? I don't get it. It's like they came here with the intention of not accomplishing anything.
Hey, well, your original claim was false, so that's great to hear.
Oh, this kid again.
So, you made the claim that
Or his face hasn't grown into his body yet. I think is the actual problem. Like his face is still 16, but he's like 20 something.
MAGA wouldn't exist or Make America wouldn't exist without
all the misinformation. Yeah.
Obviously not a true statement. I think you just admitted that.
Well, I mean, likely they would. I can't prove that 100%.
Okay, and this started way back during the Reagan years, so that.
I think it's accelerated a lot with social media, and it's accelerated a lot under Trump and MAGA. Okay, because Trump is the first guy that just lies with impunity, and there's no accountability on the conservative side when he does.
So speaking of people who believe in MAGA, it seems like based off of the rhetoric that you have said, all of the people in here and the millions of people who are kind of fall into that umbrella of believing in Make America Great Again. You act like we're some cult and we're some evil people. All of us are human. Every person in this room.
I mean, asylum seekers are human. Illegal immigrants are human. But you guys talk about deporting.
Can you stop interrupting me? I'm talking.
Yeah, you're virtually.
I'm talking.
I don't really care.
I'm talking.
Okay, so am I.
Let's be respectful.
I don't have to be.
So everyone here in this room is human. And people who are Make America Great Again and who go to these Trump rallies love each other and love.
Why did he just get voted out? What is going on? What is wrong with these people? They have like 1 minute left.
Other people and love humans and want to, they want to see the betterment of society and betterment of everybody in this country.
Return to your seats.
What's up, Stephen? Okay. So again, I think that the misinformation is far more rampant on your side. Kamala Harris.
What are like three big misinformation? Okay.
Project 2025. Huge misinformation. It's not Trump's plan.
What's the misinformation? Trump's Vance probably supports it. And I think Trump broadly
Is
supports
Trump
a lot of
is Trump Vance?
Vance?
Yeah, you can say he supports a lot of
He's
things.
his
in it,
vice
but doesn't mean he
presidential
supports the
candidate.
plan. Yeah, okay. Can VPs and presidents disagree with each other?
I guess Pence and him disagree quite a bit.
Okay,
I
great.
guess.
That's fine. Okay, and there have been plenty of examples of this in the past, like McKinley and Roosevelt disagreed staunchly. Okay, so this is not rare. Project 2025 is Kamala Harris's primary talking point, and it is not Trump's agenda. Trump has his own agenda published on his website, Agenda 47. There are some overlaps there. He agrees with some things in that project, but not all of them. The primary one being, again, Kamala Harris's biggest talking point, which is that Trump is going to institute a national abortion ban, which he has publicly disavowed.
Well, I think the problem was for a long time, I don't think he would say no to that, although I think he has said that he
said
wouldn't
no,
vote on it.
over and
now.
over again, he said no.
I've heard him go back and forth on it. Personally, I don't like the Project 2025 talking point. I think it's kind of cringe. I don't
think
know
it's
if Trump-
misinformation?
Would I go as far as to call it misinformation? I'm not sure.
Why?
But even if I would call it
Why
misinformation,
wouldn't you call it misinformation, Destiny?
Because it's written by a conservative think tank.
Okay, so what?
It's broadly
So
speaking.
who
Hold
cares?
on.
So what?
Yeah, well, I might say that if even if I were to grant that as to be misinformation, it's nowhere near on the level of Haitians are eating cats and dogs.
Okay. Do you think that I actually argue totally the opposite, right? I think that it definitely is on that level, considering she's prescribing Trump's entire policy platform, trying to claim that Trump's entire policy platform is something that it isn't, and there are lots of things that Republicans.
I just quickly fact checked that because I wasn't 100% sure. He did not do a abortion ban. He's done some abortion restrictions, but he did not do that ban yet.
Disagree in that policy
Donald
platform,
Trump, if he wanted,
and it's a lie.
And if Donald Trump wanted to fight against it, maybe he could just have a policy platform, and maybe just.
He
fight
does
on it.
have a policy
He doesn't-
platform.
He doesn't
Agenda
talk policy.
47. It's on
He
his
doesn't
website.
talk- yeah, I've read it.
Yeah, he
It's
does.
a joke. It's things like we're going to bring down the interest rates. He can't even do that as
That's the same thing with
president.
Kamala Harris's policy platform.
No, she can't
Her
bring down
entire
interest
section
rates.
on housing is 4 paragraphs.
Yeah, but she
Destiny.
can't bring down interest rates. At the very least, there's some solid stuff there, even if I think it's a little bit too far to the
Sure,
left
but
for me.
are you saying there's no policy proposals at all?
I'm saying that Donald
47?
Trump, when Donald Trump speaks, he doesn't talk.
It's more
policy
fleshed out
ever.
than her plan.
No,
for
I
sure.
don't think so.
Okay. Her entire housing section is 4 paragraphs. In one of them,
I think
I
Donald
would
Trump's
hardly
is
count
one.
as a paragraph.
I think it's one paragraph.
All right,
Okay,
guys.
there are-
War time.
Well, it's 4
We're at
times
time.
better.
Okay, please
All right.
return to your seat.
All right. We got the long one now. This is going to be the last bit. Let's see who he picks.
Oh, behind. Yeah. Actually, you know what? This one, right over here.
Okay. All right.
I chose you because you'll break my heart the most. Because you sound somewhat reasonable, intelligent, but you just say the craziest things, and yeah. So
True.
now I'm just going to try to figure out for 10 minutes if you really believe it, or if you're hardcore, just carrying water for some political side.
So, Stephen, my claim is that President Biden should pardon President Trump. No matter who wins the election, President Biden ran on unity when he came and gave that inauguration speech on January 20th, 2021. He wanted to unify the country. The best way for President Biden to leave office is to pardon President Trump and to try to bring the country together. I think as a MAGA movement, 75 million people may look at Biden and say, look, we have our political disagreements with this guy. But the fact that he pardoned Trump, much like Gerald Ford did, much like there's examples in our country of folks reaching across the aisle and doing, at that point, I think you could probably argue that Trump has the authority to pardon himself. Largely, these cases will drop if he doesn't win the election. But I think it would be a very powerful signal for the unity of the country for President Biden to pardon him.
I think there are at least 3 really good reasons why that should absolutely never happen.
Okay.
So the first one is Donald Trump doesn't need to be pardoned because the Supreme Court's already said that the president can enjoy full and absolute criminal immunity when he's doing his job. So if he's already gotten that carve out from the Supreme Court, well, why should he need any more help to be pardoned for any other types of crimes, unless we're saying that he did crimes that weren't even part of the job of being the president? I would say that's the first one. Do you want to do the other 2? Or do you want to go for it? Okay. The other 2, the second one is I think that Donald Trump has done abhorrent things in the abusive office that I think he absolutely should be accountable for. I think that he should answer for these things. I think it is destructive to lead this idea that you can act above the law and get away with it. And I think for the third point, the idea that Democrats have to be the ones that continue to come to the table and be like, okay, we're going to do this, or okay, we're going to try to heal, and okay, we're going to do unity. When you've got Biden up here, you know, saying like, I'm going to be a president for everybody, I'm going to do unity, and then Donald Trump is saying things like immigrants are the poison to the lifeblood of this nation, or like crazy stuff like this. Like the back and forth of conservatives being unhinged and Democrats having to like apologize for behavior. I don't like the double standard anymore. I don't think you can exist inside of it.
Okay, let's talk about President Biden and the unity claim. You do agree that he ran on the platform of unity, and
Absolutely.
that was the theme of his inauguration.
Yes.
We can both agree
Yep.
on that, right, Stephen?
Yep.
When he called MAGA Republicans a threat to democracy, was that a sign of unity?
That speech absolutely is. And
Really?
Yes.
Why
if you
so?
read the whole speech, he says over and over again, in a totally pointless manner, and I'm aware, because I'm part of the TikTok culture as well, he said over and over again, not even most Republicans are MAGA Republicans. When he said MAGA Republicans, he was talking about the subsection of people that deny the results of the last election, that don't even believe in things like institutions or peaceful transfers of power or the country operating as like a cohesive unit. He spells out over and over again that he's not talking about all conservatives, but people just clip that one line and then the picture with the red behind him and say, oh my God, look at what he was saying.
As a matter of fact, though, 72% of Republicans believe that there were serious issues in the 2020 election, just as a matter of
but
empirical
why do they
fact.
believe that?
Well, but just as a matter of empirical fact. So you've got 70% of 75 million people believe that. You are still making a very wide and sweeping statement about working class Americans, black, white, Hispanic Americans, saying that they're a threat to democracy.
I don't know if all of them necessarily don't believe like hardcore that there was like voter rigging as opposed to the media was biased or something, because Trump kind of used to dance around those claims.
Sure.
But for as much as people believe that there were issues with the election, it's because Donald Trump told them. That's it. Like, and a lot of the lies that started out in the Trump camp, we know now were completely and wholly fabricated. Everything having to do with that State Farm video was a total lie from the very beginning. Everything having to do with the
True.
voting.
That's true. That shit was bullshit. Most of the election fraud claims ended up being just absolute nonsense.
Machines was a total lie from the very beginning. There are so many of these claims that when you look at the genesis of them, they were either fabricated or were maliciously constructed.
But doesn't President Biden have an obligation to be a president for all Americans, even those who vehemently disagree with him?
When you say vehemently disagree, yes. But for people that don't believe in the results of the election, this is the issue, is that conservatives have pushed the boundaries of what you can tolerate in a society that can function together, right? If a conservative wants to come out and say, I think that we need small government and I don't believe in the government, providing all this relief and all this or whatever, and I think we should have small government or whatever, okay, I disagree with that, that's fine, whatever. We can still exist together and we can argue, okay? But when people are saying, I'm not, there was a phone call into a radio show where the guy's talking about his father-in-law is turning away FEMA because he thinks that FEMA is going to steal his house. We are breaking down institutions to a point to where we can't function.
Martin Creed, welcome to the chat. All I get from this is that America needs to invest more in how they educate their people. So it's actually not more. We already spend more percent of our GDP on our education system than any other country on the planet. So it's not about investing more money. We have to change the education system fundamentally. It's fundamentally broken. Like, just from like the actual, like, what we're being taught in school to how we're being taught. It's like every part of it is just fundamentally not working currently. We could probably actually spend a little bit less money and get much better results. Because it can't be the investment, because we already invest more than every other country in the world, and we don't have the best education system in the world when it comes to like our youth education. We do have some of the best universities, but those are more like private. Those are kind of divorced from the situation a little bit. But I do understand what the spirit of what you're saying, definitely.
We need institutions as much as we might hate them. We need them to function, and conservatives spend every breath undermining them, and that is becoming dysfunctional. I don't know what you're supposed to do in that circumstance.
Well, I think what you can do is, and I'm not saying this isn't without risk, there's certainly some negative optics to it, but I would say that gesture, I'll tell you, you take away the ammunition from one side if you say, I'm going to extend the olive branch. And by the way, even if it's purely ceremonial and symbolic, even if the president can end up pardoning himself, even if President Trump wins, then the question becomes, why doesn't Biden do that as a symbol of genuine unity? Genuine unity. Stephen.
I don't think there is an olive branch that would be accepted. I don't think anybody would see it as any type of. I think that arguably, I've seen back and forth.
So I understand what he's saying. Like, And I do think that this gentleman here, not Destiny, the other guy, I don't know all the conservatives' names. I do think that he does believe that this will be helpful. I think he genuinely believes that the Democrats putting forth that like completely ceremonial like olive branch would sort of calm down the anti-establishment MAGA, like, what's a good word? The like fervor, I guess. Yeah, because it's like a fervor. It's like if we don't have any institutions and what, like, we don't even have a country, like there's no point in even a government. There's no point in doing any of it. And I do believe that he thinks that this would help that situation. I don't know if I agree with him, though. I don't think that it would actually help. I think it runs way deeper than that. I think it would look good in the news for maybe a couple of weeks, but I don't actually think it would change the trajectory of the way the MAGA movement has been moving. And again, we have to remember this debate took place like 8 months ago. So this was just before the election.
Forth on this, that Merrick Garland probably dragged his feet on prosecuting Trump and in appointing Jack Smith and in all the charges that were filed, and that was a massive mistake, that he shouldn't have waited on that should have been something he moved much quicker on. But because of this obsession with liberals and the media to appear unbiased and to be nice to both sides and to treat both sides equally, even when, in my opinion, obviously one side is acting far more recklessly, it's destroying the country. We talked about Israel-Palestine earlier. We can talk about like children in the store. When somebody is acting inappropriately, or they're acting out of line, or they're behaving in a way that is unsustainable, that behavior has to be brought in line somehow. You cannot run a ship when half the people are trying to row in the other direction. And right now, conservatives are undermining every single facet of this country. And I don't know how we're supposed to function in that environment, right? Where we say like, okay, well, we're going to go ahead and pardon Trump. What if we pardon Trump and then he just commits more crimes? Or what if we pardon Trump and then the next Republican president goes, well, I can probably get away with it because they're going to cuck out for unity in the end, so it'll be great, right? What do you do at that point?
I disagree with you on conservatives threatening the country. I would even say that Democrats don't threaten the country. I think most Americans want a secure border, an economy that works for everybody, good education. To your point about, quibbles over tax policy and regulation, do you believe that a supporter of the deportation of illegal migrants falls into that category of a radical conservative?
I think that's a radical position, but I don't think that's like a beyond the pale position.
Okay.
I think it's done for a variety of reasons, but no, I don't think it's beyond the pale.
Right. And I mean, look, Axios Ipsos found this in April that 55% of Americans, not just conservatives, Americans support the mass deportation of illegal migrants. 46% of Democrats do. Why do you think that is when you look at places like Chicago and New York? Why longtime Democrats?
I think it can be for a variety of reasons, but again, this isn't an issue. It's like the minimum wage. I think that we probably need a minimum wage, but I don't think that agreeing or disagreeing on this makes you un-American. Same thing with like abortion,
right?
Even, which is way more charged. I don't think it makes you un-American. Things like immunity for crimes for the president, that's a deeply un-American value, that the president can't be charged with criminal behavior, even in the role of his job. That, in my opinion, that's deeply un-American. The undermining of all the institutions, that America should have no role as like a world leader, that the way that we look at immigrants as enemies, or that we don't want to trade with anybody because you just want to, that these things are not, I wouldn't say the trade thing. I would say that like the immunity thing are a really big one. The idea of America needing to recede from the world is a big one. The idea of like the weaponizing of all of the DOJ that Trump wants to do, these are things that deeply concern me. Talking about terminating the Constitution and all of these things, yeah.
So we can have our disagreements. There's a lot there we could pick up. We've only got a couple minutes
left. One, yeah, you're good. Or do
but you are an American. I'm an American. I believe that you love this country. I believe that you want the best for this country, the best for your family. Donald Trump wins on November 5th. Genuinely, what is one piece of advice you give him?
If Donald Trump wins, what is one piece of advice that you give him? Donald Trump, after he's gone, will have family members that remain in this world that carry his name through the world. He will have a legacy, he'll have a reputation, and that the way that he acts in his last 4 years as president will be remembered for the rest of history, for as long as America continues to exist. and that he has an opportunity in his second term at least to right some of the wrongs of the first term, or to prove people like me wrong at least when I said that the United States would become an authoritarian hellhole or whatever else. That he has an opportunity to prove people like me wrong, and I hope that he would take advantage of that.
I think that'd be great. I think that would be great for the country, to tell you the truth. Is there one policy, one position that you agree with Donald Trump on, even remotely?
The problem is I just don't like his thought process. So there are going to be things that we agree on, but like we're going to agree on them for totally.
Don't worry, Wicked. At the end of this one, I'm going to be out for the day. I have some plans tonight. I just wanted to get this video finished so I can upload the entire reaction to this video up onto YouTube before I get out of the house tonight. But I'll be back for our regularly scheduled, well, regularly scheduled is a strong word. We'll get into a regular schedule, but I'll be back on tomorrow night and Thursday night.
Different
What's
reasons,
an example
I
of
think.
that?
Like in general, I'm not as big on like DEI or affirmative action type stuff. I think for a variety of reasons has a lot of different issues. I think that having a secure border is really important. Arguably one of the most important things about having a country is having a border. I think the Democrats like broadly agree with that as well. I think that yeah, I could probably find other things, but like our agreements are going to be very roundabout. We're not getting here the same way. But I think the creation of the Space Force was good. I obviously all the conservatives hate it, but I thought Warp Speed was a tremendous achievement of capitalism, of pharmaceuticals, of the United States and U.S. leadership. Yeah, sorry, go on.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, I think the big picture though, and can we give him a round of applause?
No, I don't want a round of applause.
No, I don't want a round of applause.
I'm a big believer, Stephen, that when we come together as a country and have conversations, difficult.
Oh, Destiny hates this crap. He hates this crap. We need to come together and have conversations and like pretend like we're all cool. He hates this crap.
Conversations like this, we may not walk away saying, well, I agree with Stephen, or I agree with James, or I agree with any of the folks here, but you walk away saying, that's a person, that's an American, we can disagree agreeably, and I might understand for just a moment their perspectives. I want to thank you for being here. I think that the biggest thing for the country going forward, in a sense, is how do we have more debate, not less, more disagreement, not less?
Unfortunately, I totally disagree with you.
Yeah.
I was there a while ago. It's not enough to just have conversations anymore. I think we have to start taking steps in an actual direction. I think right now we are talking ourselves off a ledge. And I notice a lot of times when I have challenging conversations with people, I get all of these comments that pop up, whether it's me talking to Peterson, Shapiro, Owens, of like, what a great civil conversation. But at the end of the day, nobody's mind comes away changed, and everybody still feels the same way. And we're still accelerating off of each other faster than we ever have been before. But at least we're having good conversations on the way down to the base of the cliff, I guess.
Well, let me end.
Exactly. I knew he was going to say that. He's so done with the nice casual conversations.
Just start.
Let me end on a bipartisan note, Stephen. Let's not just make debate great again. Let's build it back better.
Okay.
Thanks, man.
I think I did about as well as I could have. I mean, there's always more like itty-bitty pieces of factual information that I could have, but it's hard to keep track of everything. But
Well, it's
yeah, I think it was
it's impossible to know every little bit of every little information that you could possibly have had going into a 25v1 debate. I mean, that's crazy.
okay. Maybe I could have been meaner to some people, but I'm okay.
I think that James did really
Yeah, the blonde girl. You should have been meaner to the blonde girl.
well. I think that Destiny himself did really well too. I think that Destiny is probably the best debater in the space on either side. So I think that we did really well against him considering that fact. I think that debate is important, I guess kind of counter to what Destiny thinks, even though he's a professional debater.
Part of democracy is talking. You know, we see these global conflicts in Israel, what's happening with Russia and Ukraine is because people aren't talking. I think that the Republican Party today and President Trump we want peace. We want to bring people back to the talking table and for people to be civil.
So there were some personal attacks here and there, but I think for the most part, everybody stayed on the substance of the issue. There were some.
Okay, about half of the conservatives stayed on the substance of the issue. I've heard enough out of this guy. He was pretty reasonable. um, all right, that was fascinating. I agree. I mean, I already know this, but I generally agree with Destiny's political and economic opinions. Social stuff, I'm way more all over the place with. But when it comes to like economy, foreign policy, the kind of things that they discussed during this, what I don't like is the claims of fascism and just the hyperbolic stuff like that. Like, you can make an argument for authoritarianism, but to make an argument for fascism, the debate is over. Like, now you're just arguing about the definition of fascism. Plead the grift. I come away from these debates and need to dow in a dark room. I'm gonna assume you meant something like hide in a dark room. But yeah, I get the feeling. I'm gonna start doing debates soon, and I am absolutely not going to be nice to anyone. Let's make that crystal clear. Wicked, I made the analogy yesterday that we were barreling toward a cliff. Yeah, I remember that. But there's no steering and only a brake. Yeah, that's kind of like the point. Like, we can keep having these like nice, calm conversations, but like, unless we really put on the brakes and change the course, like, that's not going to happen through like just nice conversations. Like, at a certain point, you have to be like assertive, and it's going around on both sides too. It's like the far ends of the spectrum are so ideologically driven that there's no like nice conversation to be had with them. Like a far progressive leftist is, you can't have a conversation with that person. And as we just saw in this video with the MAGA people, you almost can't have a conversation with them. At a certain point, like, the people in the country that are like capable of reasoning and nuance and balancing views is just, we have to put our foot down and start to be really aggressive, because the nice shit is not working. It's not working at all. Martin, I would like to see you debate Andrew Wilson. Even when he's right, I want to slap him. It's just, here's the thing about Andrew. I would debate Andrew. I definitely want to get some live debating under my belt before I debate Andrew, just so I have a little practice first. And it would depend on the topic too. The thing about Andrew is he debates people that have, on so many occasions, that have no experience debating. Like, he's so well known for like the whatever stuff and like the TikTok invasions and all of that stuff. And it's just so easy to debate in those contexts when you're debating against like insane people that have no experience with debate. They have no understanding of philosophy, no grounding in any kind of logical schools of thought. It's just, and then he comes out looking better and smarter because, yeah, he's smarter than those people, but like, he doesn't usually come out looking that smart when he debates someone like Destiny. Not during this. This was when they only have 5 minutes to talk to each other. They both just regress into this dark place and start screaming at each other. But when they do long, real debates, he doesn't come out looking as intelligent as he does when he debates people like freaking Kylie Brewer or Rafael Gomez on the whatever podcast. And those two people have zero debate experience, and they brought nothing with them as far as arguments go, and they just fold. Like, Kylie was crying within like 60 seconds of starting the debate. At one point, Raphael was like, I think they should leave the red pill. All your fans, they should leave the red pill. And Andrew was like, okay, well, where do you think they should go? And he was like, anywhere else, just not the red pill. Okay, well, what's an alternative? The opposite of the red pill. Okay, what would that be? I don't know, the blue pill, maybe. Just the opposite of the red pill. Okay, what is the blue pill? The opposite of the red pill. I don't know, just they should leave the red pill. Like, bro, those aren't, none of that was arguments. There are refutations to all of these things, but if you don't know them, Andrew is going to stomp all over you. And it's just sad to watch. 6:16. All right. I know it was a really short stream today. Glad I caught you right at the end, though, Wicked. That was nice. But now you'll have plenty of time to go back and catch up because only going to be about an hour and 30 minute video when I go ahead and end stream here. For the new people in chat, Plead the Grift, Martin. It was great seeing you guys. I'd like to see him debate Shapiro, Peterson. Yeah, we're actually going to do, I think we're going to look at Destiny's last Boghossian appearances. He did a few of those recently. So we're going to get into that. There's an old Destiny debate that I want to show you guys in case you haven't seen it yet. It really highlights so many of the debate pervertries that go on when people are debating. It's hilarious. It's unbelievable. It's just pure laughter the entire time. It's fun for the entire family, if you will. So we're going to get into some of that stuff for sure. But again, that's going to do it for today. I'll be back tomorrow for like a normal stream, like 4 or 5 hours probably. Hopefully get started around 7. I will be doing HVAC in a faraway land for most of the day, so I'm not sure if it'll be exactly 7. Could be like 7:30 or 8, but we'll see. I'll try to put a post on my Twitter and YouTube on my way home. But it was great hanging out with you guys. Thank you all for stopping by. I didn't actually really expect to see this many of you. I know 5 isn't a ton of people, but I only have 67 subscribers and this channel is brand new. So